Hello, Chicago Bears fans. Welcome to the Bears Den podcast. So today we are celebrating a big fat loss. Big fat one. And we deserve it because I think we played like it. I can't believe we played like that coming out of our bye week. We played like shit. No other way to say it. Chicago, Clarence, what are your thoughts on that game? I already know you're pissed. I already know it. Trust me. And if you have virgin ears, now's the time to hide your wife and kids. Tell them to leave the room.
So many things go into my feelings. I don't even know where to start. Um, I watched the football team feeling themselves going to a bye week, coming off our win over the Jacksonville Jaguars in London, and we go on a bye against a football team across the board that we're clearly better than, and we come out the gates and we just look horrible on offense. Um, the play calling was horrendous. I don't want no
Yes.
one. I don't want no one talking to me defending Shane Waldron no more. I mean, because if you don't know what you're talking about when you're looking at football, and you don't know what personnel groupings are supposed to look like, then I don't know what to tell you. Because there were a litany of mistakes with play calling today, and like I said, I don't know where to start. We have talked on this show week after week after week after week about running our offense out of the gun. And for some reason, that's our base offense shotgun. We don't pass block well out of the shotgun. We do not run the ball well out of the shotgun. The moment that we started going under center and running swift through between the tackles, then when you started seeing positive plays. I don't know what was happening with Caleb Williams, why he just looked lethargic today, overthrowing wide open receivers,
Mm-hmm.
throwing it behind guys. I mean, he looked like it was his first NFL game. But we lost this football game, and it was just coaching malpractice. We had three timeouts, y'all, at the end of the game. Three. Why do you not put your hands football team in? You got a hands team in there. I'm talking about Cole Kmet, who's 6'8". I'm talking about Booker. I'm talking about Mercedes Lewis. That's
Rome,
what a hands team is.
sure.
And we don't call a timeout and get in the right defense. And why? Why would you rush just three people? Blitz him. Make him get rid of the ball. Do not allow him to stand back there and dance around waiting on people to get set up and throw the ball. And oh, by the way, NFL referees, that was holding. Clear and day, holding, and they don't throw the flag. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to the Chicago Bears. I mean, one of the plays that bothered me the most is Washington had one timeout or two timeouts, don't remember. We're fourth and one on the 1 yard line. And what's the first play we run? We run a fade route. Now, for those of you out there that's listening that don't know what happens when you have an incomplete pass, the clock stops. So if we know this, then why in the fuck are we running a fade pass? We should have ran the damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
And if they stop you, they're doing you a favor because the clock continues to run. Or you make them use their timeouts. Either way, it's in your favor. So why the fuck are we throwing the ball? And that's why I don't understand. Fourth and I mean first down, 1 yard line, we run a fade route. And then when we get them to third down, what do? We let them complete a 20-yard pass at the 50-yard line and lets the guy get out of bounds. That preserves the clock. We tackle him inbounds, game's over.
Mhm.
So that's coaching. And that's what I have told y'all from week one. That's the thing that worries me the most with this football team. Our coaching sucks. And if you didn't believe it then, you should believe it now. Because all you got to do is look at the tape of this football game. I'm gonna go back and rewatch this game, and it ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna It's not going to convince me anything different than what I saw or what I'm feeling right now. Our coaching staff don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't understand why you would pass the ball when the clock is on your side. Why would you help them by doing incomplete passes? And even if you scored the touchdown right there, you leave them more time to get down the field where a field goal ties the game, or if you did not convert your 2-point conversion, a field goal beats you. So you want them to run time off the clock. Why are we throwing the ball? I can't with this. I can't with this coaching staff. I just can't.
So Todd, you were pretty. This is the most pissed off I've ever seen you.
Yeah.
In a game. I mean, I'm pissed off too.
2 weeks to prepare. It doesn't look like they prepared at all.
Thank you.
At all. I mean,
thank you.
And I don't know, I was making excuses for Caleb early on. This is a homecoming game for him, and Mr. I don't get nervous. But he was terrible. He was just terrible. I mean, we were calling for to play Bajent, in the third quarter, even right after halftime, and I don't think they were ever going to do that because that was just going to break his confidence and create a whole new thing. So I didn't expect it to happen, but he was awful. I mean, the play call with Kramer giving him the ball, on the 2-yard line there. I mean, that unbelievable. I mean, just there's times where you can do gimmicks and you can try things. But this game was on the line. I mean, this was before we took the lead. This was, when we turned it over and the defense held up. And I don't know what more you can ask this defense to do. I mean, still, they gave up how many points? What was we
gave up 18 points total.
So still under 20 points. Still under 20 points.
And the touchdown they scored was the Hail Mary that
right.
55. Martin got held on twice.
Yeah.
We're not going to point that out. You can see his jersey.
Right. I mean, if we had rushed 5 guys, and forced him to run, the odds of him getting in the end zone were
0.
If we drop 7 and we rush 5, they're gonna force him out of bounds. Or rush 4, right?
You're at 12 players.
Sometimes we had 12 today.
Yes, and we didn't get called for it.
But it's as bad as it was, even through the third quarter and even started fourth quarter. I thought, we're still hanging around. They're not getting touchdowns. I still feel like we're going to win this game, which and we should have. And we were right there, but I think we learned more from this loss probably than a win. But yeah, this coaching staff is fine.
It's not
if you're playing, the bottom 15 teams in the league, but you go up against these top 10 teams, real playoff teams, we're going to get out coached every time. Just, I don't, Eberflus is a fine defensive coordinator. I think he's a fine defensive coordinator, but that's really what he is. And, I mean, like that stupid non-challenge, right, on that pass play. It was, 30-yard pass play. But, Washington knew they didn't complete it. That's why they ran like crazy up there to get a play, because it wasn't like they were rushing for the clock or anything. They were rushing to try to beat the beanbag hitting the ground.
It was
little things like that.
It was definitely worth a challenge.
On that ball,
it was a close play.
The ground aided that. We don't have somebody that can see that immediately. I mean, everybody else does. Everybody else does. I just.
Here's what I saw. I saw trash on the field. That's what I saw. We were garbage. I'm sorry. We were garbage. We got played, out coached. We got outstatted. We got out everything. I didn't have time to look up stats because we were at Max Speed Shop watching the game. You're not going to see any pictures on the screen. It's just going to be us talking. But we were out everything. We deserved to lose. We did. Washington was the better team. I mean, but we had a chance. We had a chance, and we decided to be cute. And we decided to, after a bye week, our best play on goal line situations is handing off to the second string center. That's what we came up with after our bye week. Like, God damn, what? I thought the dumbest play ever was the Indianapolis game on the fourth down, the speed option to the left when they see that the line was overloaded. Indianapolis knew we were going to run it, and we still ran it. But nope, we outdid ourselves when we come up with another dumber play. But this coaching staff is not it. Shane Waldron's not it.
Situational football.
This is not it.
Situational football is something that this coaching staff continues to not understand. There are certain things in certain situations that you're supposed to do and you're not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we're regular every day at Joe's. But if we can see it, why can't they? They're supposed to be professional football coaches. So and it's just like I said before, I can't say it enough. When you want the clock to run, why are you throwing the ball? Because you need them to use their timeouts. You need them to have to stop the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to throw a fade route on first down. And like I said before, even if we score a touchdown there, we helped them by scoring too fast. So we left time on the clock and we left them timeouts in their pocket. And all of that came to fruition, as you saw. And then the refs helped them out by kept adding time to the clock. I don't know what that was, but the last play doesn't even happen.
No.
Because they would have had to use their timeouts, and they would have ran out of time on their own 40-yard line, and he was not even able to throw the ball down to the goal line. Right. That's what I'm talking about with situational football. And when the game gets tight, we don't know what we're doing. A wide receiver screen with 4th and 1. You're going to call a wide receiver screen? When you got Kramer in there at fullback, you got a guy in the backfield with Roshan Johnson, who was born to break tackles. That's all he does is break tackles. And you decide you don't put the ball in their hand. You call a wide receiver screen. And you're not even noticing that the whole game, your quarterback is struggling, missing wide open receivers, but you call a wide receiver screen on 4th and 1. Who are you fooling? You're fooling yourselves. And I told you guys, I like reminding y'all when I'm right. I told you coaching was going to be a problem. I told y'all this.
Yeah.
The guy we needed is down there in Los Angeles, coaching the Chargers. This doesn't happen with Harbaugh. It does not. Because he knows what he's doing. He knows that everything starts up front with your offensive line. You don't retain a guy who was on the previous administration and couldn't get the job done then. You come in and you fire everybody, but you retain him.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do you make him the offensive coordinator of the offensive line coach, which is the job he had under the previous coaching staff,
which was no good, but keep going.
But you also make him the run game coordinator. Why the fuck? Why? What did he show you that convinced you that he was up to the task? And we have failed miserably every single week. We get fat, dumb, and happy about beating the Jaguars. And we beat the Los Angeles Rams when they were missing their 2 best wide receivers. Who believes this game might have turned out differently had Pakua and Cooper Kupp played?
Yeah, a lot different. I do. I think it would have been different. Don't forget we beat the lowly Carolina Panthers.
The Carolina Panthers don't even factor in this conversation. And I'm not even trying to be funny, but I'm just simply saying that's a bad football team.
Yeah.
All the way around. So I'm not even talking about them. But we always talk every week about what happens if the playoffs started today, where we will land. Don't talk to me about playoffs no more. Not with this team.
No.
I don't want to hear it. Because if we can't go up there and beat Washington, a team who up to this point hadn't beaten anybody, and if we can't go up there and handle our business coming off a bye, what makes you think that we're ready for the Detroit Lions? Did you see what they did today?
Yeah.
What makes you think we're ready for them? What makes you think we're ready for the Green Bay Packers?
Hmm.
You saw what they did today?
Mm-hmm.
They don't do nothing but win. They put their backup quarterback in, and it's just business as usual. Doesn't even matter. You know why? Because they are a superbly coached football team. Matt LaFleur knows what the fuck he's doing. That's why they're able to win football games. And
Yeah,
we are left to spin our wheels and talk about what goes on, what should have happened, what would have happened, and we continue to go through this shit. I am tired of it. I am so tired of talking about football follies when it comes to the Chicago Bears because that's what we got. We had it with Nagy, we had it with Fox, we had it with Trestman. The
Mm-hmm.
list goes on and on. And for all those who hate Lovie Smith, we didn't look like this with Lovie Smith in there. We did not.
No, we were the power
But
of the
he
ball.
he he wins 10 games and loses his job.
yeah. I don't know. We're talking up to growing pains and learning to win, but excuses are just. I'm sick of it. I mean, we developed this whole greater good. Let's tank and let's do all this and that, and it may have. I don't know. I don't think that this is the coaching staff that's going to take us where we need to be. And I'm not sure it's the coaching staff we need right now. I mean,
So we're going to say that now after 7 games because
yeah,
we knew that if we ended up to saying that, what kind of trouble we were going to be in.
right,
Because
because
if you end up having to fire this coaching staff,
right,
guess what? You got to bring a new guy in here, and you got to hope that he's on the Caleb Williams train. Because if
right.
he's not,
Yeah.
hmm
then you got to make a decision.
Well, that
We ain't got time to figure out another quarter. We don't have time for that. That's the reason why you should have did it the right way. You bring in a new quarterback, you bring in a new coaching staff. Everybody else does it. We the only team that don't do it. We refuse to do what's right.
We've done
And we
it.
sit here and we wonder why we're in this position after 7 fucking games. I told y'all it was going to be like this.
We've done that. We've done that 2 quarterbacks in a row. Trubisky, rookie year. Who was the coach? Fox did not want him. Fox got fired. New staff, new coordinator, Nagy. Justin Fields, rookie year. Nagy's last year got fired. Justin Fields had to learn a new system. Now here we are with Caleb. Third time. Looks like third time is not going to be the charm because I don't think his coaching staff is it. After what the dumbest play I've ever seen, a Doug Kramer handoff, no.
I mean,
No.
like, and today they made a decision, to not include Davis, right? And I know that they hate him,
Yes.
and it's over at the end of the year.
Yes.
We got down to Doug Kramer at guard for a handful of plays. We used every offensive lineman we had, and say what you want to, he was going to be better than that if he chose to play. And I mean, that it's foolish. He's on the team. There's not another play. I don't believe there wasn't somebody else that they could have chose to leave off the roster.
What's going on with Bates and Borum, but they have been on the IR way longer than the mandatory 4 games once you place someone on IR. So
What happens is once you activate them off IR, you open up a 20-day window to where they've got to be added to the 50-man roster or you lose them. And we're right in that wheelhouse. It's going to be close. But my thing is, and it's what Todd said, which is the reason why I never wanted to get rid of Davis, is because I knew that this offensive line is a bunch of pansies. Every time, somebody's always hurt. The Washington defensive line worked them today.
Yeah, we got
worked them. They got pushed around.
So,
and there's no excuse for that.
So, Clarence, I just want to say we got a comment. Brandon Weekly says, "I agree with you, Clarence. I was screaming and yelling the same thing." And then he said, "I feel you when you were on your rant." Thank you, Brandon, for the comments. Everybody, just keep them coming. So, the offensive line, we all said we're probably still weak in the trenches. I think all of us said that. Both sides of the ball. I know Chicago Clarence is always screaming for another pass rusher. I think this offensive line is gonna get remade next year. because almost everybody on this offensive line's time is going to be up. But it looked like old times because it was leaking today big time. It was water flowing.
Braxton
the
goes
whole
down in
game.
the first half.
Yes.
And Amagaji, who didn't have training camp,
was horrible.
Was barely healthy enough to play on his own now.
Though.
It's been for a week or two.
He was horrible.
Shocked. He wasn't prepared for that. He wasn't ready to be the swing tackle on this team.
He should be. Should he not? This is an NFL team.
Right. But
you're one play away from being a starter every play.
But he didn't even go through
horrible.
Camp. I mean, look, that's just throwing him to the wolves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but that's a big problem when he's our swing tackle.
And Jenkins goes down, and we're down to. We literally.
Bill Murray went down instantly. He went down instantly. I don't know what happened, but he came in, went down instantly. Then we had to go to Kramer.
We're playing Kramer out of position, an undersized center who's too small to play guard, but we had no choice. We had no other bodies.
Yeah.
All of that is coaching.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. That's the number one worry I have for this football team. The coaching staff is not up to task. If you got a rookie left tackle coming in who you already established in training camp, the answer, because he didn't look ready. You know why? Because he didn't play Power 5 football.
No,
he came from Yale.
He came from
Yale.
Training camp. He didn't even play in training camp.
No, but what I'm saying is they established early that he was not going to supplant Braxton Jones at left tackle. You and I and Andy, when we was watching the draft and we were talking about the draft, we was hoping that they was going to get somebody that was going to push Braxton Jones. And Omagaji was decided early on he wasn't going to be that guy. But I'm not even going to focus on that. What I want to focus on is the fact that you put him out there. You can clearly see that he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. He was getting killed out there. You're supposed to put a tight end over there to help.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And
why? Not one time did you see it.
Yeah, it should have been Mercedes Lewis right there.
That's why Mercedes Lewis is on this team.
I know.
If they seen our left tackle getting his ass handed to him, they should have done something to help. Tight end over there, fullback, something. And Daniel says, what a game. Got to give Jane Daniels on that Hail Mary. Our defense played great today. Our defense played great the whole game.
I'm not going to give Jane Daniels no fucking credit on the play that he was able to make because the fucking referees let holding happen. I don't even want to say, you can call me salty if you want to, but that's this game of football. That's the reason why you got those little fucking yellow handkerchiefs in your goddamn pockets. You're supposed to call fouls when they fucking happen, and it was holding.
Twice. Watch the
replay. It was obvious.
Blatant holding. His jersey was tugged twice.
It happened right there in front of the ref, and he doesn't call it.
I agree. I agree 100%. That is textbook holding. That should have been called because that affected the outcome of the game. That was terrible by the refs. And it was terrible when they missed. We had 12 men on the field. That was terrible too. It was a terribly officiated game. But it shouldn't have came down to that. We should never handed the ball off to Doug Kramer. We could have got a touchdown right there, and that would change the complexion of the game. But we decided to be cute. We're just like Luke Getsy sometimes. We run the worst play at the worst time. It seems like we just somehow have to run the worst play at the exact worst time. I don't know how we have the ability to do that over and over and over again. It's just
I told you,
it's coaching.
Andy,
it's coaching. I know
it's situational football, which is a part of coaching. But you got 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
You know this is gonna be the last. It's 2 seconds left on the clock. Why are you not in the right defense?
Mm-hmm.
There's a play that you can run called the blitz that doesn't allow the quarterback to sit back there and survey the field. You make him get rid of the ball. Everything happens in that because the worst that could have happened is you get a defensive hold or a defensive pass interference. They're kicking the field goal. You're going into overtime. That's the worst that could happen. But everything else is in your favor. You make him get rid of the ball. You blitz him. You don't let him sit back there and fucking throw a Hail Mary pass, especially when you don't have your hands team in there.
Yeah.
But we completed 10 passes today. 10 passes.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to look up stats.
So, I mean, I just looked it up right now.
Yeah. It was a horrible day for us.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it was horrible.
We should have won a game that we completed 10 passes in. You should never win a game that you complete 10 passes. That's insane.
When your defense goes in there and holds them to 12 points, you know, that covers up the ugly parts of what your offense was doing and was not doing. They held them to 12 points. So defense matters as well. But at the end of the day, all of this comes down to coaching. Plain and simple.
Okay, so we have a comment. Let me read this one. So Brianna says, what you guys should be frustrated by is player 29. Too busy talking shit. I agree with that. Running his mouth and getting the 15-yard personal foul by putting his finger in the face mask. I agree with that. I think Stevenson, he's aggressive. There's no question. He does commit dumb penalties from time to time. I agree with that wholeheartedly, but I don't want to take his aggressiveness with. But sometimes you just got to walk away. You just got to walk for the betterment of the team. You just got to walk away from that crap because it cost us there. But I agree.
Love Stevenson.
I do too.
He's my guy.
But
look,
you got to walk away. You just
still
have
gave
to.
up. They still gave up 12 points, y'all.
Yeah. Look, Stevenson's fantastic. And you know what he'll do? He will make a tackle. He'll hit somebody. He'll talk about it afterwards too. But at least he'll do it. You know how many cornerbacks will actually hit a guy? Almost none. They love to just push
all of
you
our
out of bounds or run
all of
you
our
out of bounds.
cornerbacks are willing to hit somebody if they have to.
Gordon and Stevenson
and Johnson will come up and hit,
I mean, I disagree. I mean, look, he was out of control for part of the game with his mouth, but he makes more plays than he's a burden for these other mistakes he makes. And he's going to get older and smarter too, but I don't want to take that out of him.
So, guys, let's put a bow tie on this.
Well, you know who the guy was that actually tipped the ball to Washington? It was Stevenson.
Yeah. Look, I think that's true. They should have had, because you're just back there in the end zone. You could have had Cole and you could have had Rome, who's tall and all that, and to try to knock a ball down. Yeah, I mean that seems like that's the stuff that this coaching staff has to learn by failing and then trying to figure it out afterwards.
Normally on the tip drill, there's always somebody back behind the crowd.
Yeah,
and there should have been a defensive back with Noah Brown there.
Yeah,
but again, that's coaching.
As soon as that ball was up,
coaching.
Just put shoulder pads right in that guy's ribs and knock him down, and then that's over. Yeah,
and is that not how I started this show? I'm talking about coaching.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
That's the number one weakness of this football team, coaching. I can't say it enough, and I'm not going to stop screaming about it, because when all of this stuff happened, I was screaming for Harbaugh since day one. And once again, I hate to say when I'm right, because we're seeing it unfold right in front of our very eyes. We're about to waste a football season.
Yeah, we are.
And it's because we don't have the guts to make hard decisions that we know is the best thing for our team. We don't like Harbaugh because Harbaugh is a jerk. He don't like the owners. He likes to do things his way, but the guy has an 80% winning percentage in the NFL.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
And he's one of us.
Yeah.
He was a quarterback for this team, for God's sake.
Yeah, we didn't even interview him.
No, we didn't. We, and we wouldn't. And we wouldn't. Olin Kreutz is a soon-to-be Hall of Fame offensive line center. But we don't want him in the building because we don't like how he talks to the owner and tells it exactly how he sees it. So the ones who has the guts to challenge our upper management, we don't want them nowhere around a football team. So we continue to make the decisions that hinder this football team. Eberflus is a great defensive coordinator, but he's a terrible hurt coach. Because
He's
I don't know how you don't have your booth team going.
Yeah.
How do you not have anybody up there that knows how to tell you when it's time to challenge a play and when it's not?
Mm-hmm.
Because that ball clearly hit the ground.
mm-hmm.
But he's too busy looking at his defensive play sheet instead of being the head coach. He ain't paying attention.
Yeah.
So, and because they've been so bad in that area early in the season, now they're gun shy. They don't want to challenge anything now
Right.
because they've been so bad.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you get called on. It's like, well, we're not going to do that anymore. That's not how you play the game. That's not.
Hell have no fury if the Los Angeles Chargers make the playoffs and the Chicago Bears don't. I promise you, hell have no fury.
It
The
could
venom
happen.
that I'm going to spill on this show, if that happens.
It could happen because that's a very bad division. You know, Kansas City is the class of that division. Then the other three, I mean, Raiders are bad. Broncos are so-so. They're 50-50.
The
I mean, they're
Broncos, the
so-so.
Broncos have a really good
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah.
A really good defense. And like I said before, we were sitting here, we were all fat, dumb, and happy off of beating bad teams. And even at 4-2, we were saying I shoulda, coulda, woulda about the Indianapolis Colts game.
Right.
This game's gonna come back to haunt us.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
As competitive as the NFC North is, and strong as the NFC North is this season, we can't afford to let games like this get away. We cannot.
We could have gained
No
one
way
on
we should have lost
Minnesota.
this game.
We should have gained one on Minnesota. Now we lost one.
We're right where we should be, which is last
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
We've earned it.
Yeah.
We've earned it.
I think it's fair to say we definitely have the worst coach in this division. We've been saying that more than once. We had the worst head coach in the division by far.
He just proves it.
Yeah.
I mean,
He just
we
proves it time
and
again.
by far we have the worst offensive coordinator in this division.
Yeah.
By far, it ain't even close.
Yeah. That play
It's not even close.
That play is unforgivable, right? That's a fireable offense. That
Well, I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
about one play.
I know.
But like I
Yeah.
said, as bad as that play was, the 4th and 1 fade pass was
Yeah.
even worse. For the reasons why I told you, it's because it wasted a down and it didn't wind the clock.
I know.
10 completions. 10 completions. That's the worst coordinator.
And like I told you before, even if that fade pass had worked, we still did Washington a favor
Yeah.
because we left them their timeouts and we left 30-something seconds on the clock. Stupidity.
So
That's
guys, let me-
coaching 101.
So guys, let me ask you something. I just wanted to start something new after each game. Who was the MVP of this game? Most valuable Bear? Did anybody see one on the field? Who was the most valuable Bear for you guys?
Swift on the offense by a mile.
Chicago Clarence, who would you pick for your most valuable Bear today?
Why the fuck would I even care? We lost the game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Swift on offense, and
Montez got some pressure, but I mean, look, they were blaming Tyreek for this last play, but he was pretty solid through most of the games. That was that McLaurin had a long reception.
could you believe how easily Jane Daniels shaked and baked our defensive?
It just looks like
and
he
baked
just slides out of
Yes.
everything.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
he's I didn't realize he was that.
If that kid stays
shifty
healthy,
in the open
he's going to be
field.
great.
I didn't realize he was going to be that shifty in the open field. Like he's like Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson shifty.
If it were,
Like-
I'd be terrified at how
Yeah.
small he is. And
Our linebackers had a rough game.
Yeah,
They
that's
dealing
what
with
they
him.
were horrible. I mean,
Dealing with him. He
shaked
made them
and
look
baked them.
slow.
Yeah, he shaked and
Yeah.
baked them the whole game.
He made them look slow.
Like
I
if
mean,
it was,
Edward should be ashamed of himself to some of the angles he played.
if it was 1-on-1, Jane Daniels got the better of the Bears today. On 1-on-1, he got the better of them all game.
Yeah, Edwards had 6 tackles, and usually he has twice that. So he had
Yes.
a rough game.
So
So
Todd,
yeah.
I'll let you. What are your final thoughts on this one?
I just hope they can learn from it, but we're not. Any talk of the entire division making the playoffs, I just don't see it. I mean, we're going into not necessarily next week, but we're getting into the meat of the schedule now, and it might be humbling. So, but if they're able to grow from it and learn something, then I guess it's worth it. But it was, I was convinced we were going to win the entire night, and then we were set to, and then this craziness happened. So, but it's a combination of a mess. But I don't know. We'll see where it goes from here.
My final thoughts is I'm extremely disappointed. I thought we would win this one too. I thought it would be a matchup, mano-a-mano, and Jane Daniels looked better than our quarterback. I mean, the number 2 draft pick looked better than the first draft pick. Washington looked better than we did. It was embarrassing. Like I know we had a chance to win, but I mean, truthfully, we didn't deserve to win this game because we played like trash.
If you knew this going in, seen this game, what would you do on draft night? Would you take Daniels?
That's a good question. I still think CW's got a high ceiling yet. I mean, we don't know whose ceiling is going to be higher yet. You can't compare them anybody after 7 games. But Chicago Clarence, what are your final thoughts on this one? And do you want to address what Todd just said? Would you still stick with CW, or you wish we were gone with Daniels now?
Guys, when you talk about quarterbacks and stuff, I've told y'all this before. Coaching matters, and offensive line play matters. One of the things that Daniels didn't have to worry about that Caleb Williams did was his offensive line wasn't a turnstile. He had time to throw the ball. He had time to go through his reads. Caleb Williams didn't have that. Now, was Caleb Williams razor sharp? No, he was not.
No.
But you can't expect a guy to perform behind a leaky O-line and then question whether or not if he's the guy or not. Our offensive line is terrible. We said this on draft night when they didn't address it. We had the capital to do it. We had the money under the salary cap to get guys in here who's been doing the job for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and we didn't do it. You can't throw shit on an offensive line and expect it to perform. And oh, by the way, you fired the previous coaching staff. And you retained the guy who was doing the offensive line duties, and you kept him in the same role. Who does that?
We do.
I mean, I ask you.
We do.
Who does that and expect to be successful at anything?
This franchise right
here.
You know
what I mean?
This franchise on my hat. We do it.
How many times do you see somebody go out and buy a new car but keep the engine from the old one? They don't. Because it makes no fucking sense. So if you're failing an offensive line play, and we all know that was one of the biggest problems under Matt Nagy, other than Matt Nagy, why would you keep the offensive line coach from that regime and make him the offensive line coach for this regime? But then last year, you fired the offensive coordinator, but you don't fire the offensive line coach. It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Everything starts up front. And so the thing that bothers me with this team is the decision making from ownership, general manager, down to head coach. And that's what's going to sink this football team. It's hard for me to sit here and be like, okay, well, we let one get away. Now it's on to Arizona. Fuck no. Why should we be excited about that game? Because if we play like this against them, we're going to get beat. We're going to lose that game. And then what are we going to be saying sitting at 4-4 and we ain't even played a division game yet in the toughest division in the NFL? So I'm extremely pissed. This is not something that I'm just going to just be like, oh, well, we'll get them next time. Fuck that. I'm tired of this. I am tired of watching us hurt ourselves. I am tired of watching our football coaches make stupid ass decisions that we as everyday people know better. How do you not run the fucking ball when the clock is on your side and you need them to spend timeouts? Why are you throwing the ball? Knowing that a touchdown still helps them because you have to come do a 2-point conversion to even to be up 3. But you then leave them time and timeouts in that scenario. So the logical thing is to run the fucking ball. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that infuriates me. And I've been harping on it the whole time on this show because that's how important it was.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, on that note, I think we're calling it a night. Until next time, bear down.
Bear down.
See you guys. Take care.